From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself. I'm Cat Knapsack. This is Star Wars Ranked, and that is... What's your name again, sir?
Joseph Scripshaw.
Oh, okay. Pleasure to meet you. 10
nice
years
to meet
on.
you as well. Nice to see your office.
Yes. I was doing the thing, clearing out some old photos, and I discovered you and I reenacting our meeting at LA Comic-Con.
Yeah, and that photo was taken in like 2016, 2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
The photo commemorating the beginning is older than I would care to know. Hey everybody, Jennifer Land is out for this episode. We apologize and send our regards. She sends her regards. I don't know. Which in Game of Thrones is a threat, so now it's all messed up.
Jennifer's joined the mafia. Watch out. That's what we're saying. No.
We're emerging from holiday slumber here. I did not see or communicate with a human for over 55 hours, Joseph, during the holidays.
That's a good record. Yes, I was decreased in my scene of other humans, mostly relaxed with my wife. We saw some friends last night as we record this, so that was lovely. But yeah, it's kind of nice sometimes to take a break from other humans.
Other humans. But I get a little lonely, and I want attention. Mm-hmm. So the poor guy at the taco stand had to have a full-on dad conversation with me. How about this weather, huh? Yeah. We're here today for a very special Star Wars Ranked, returning to this series here. We have our format that's newer over the years, but for those that don't know, we're going to be ranking 10 moments. We're going to alternate. We don't know what's coming. It's kind of a little land grab game, but it's also kind of how well do we know each other. But Joseph, this is part of our 10 years of looking back on The Force Awakens as we rank our favorite and famous Force Awakens moments now. I told you, I haven't spoken out loud in a while.
No, I understand. If you need to yell at a video game, if that's the way you're used to communicating this weekend, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, this is really fun. I'm really glad to be doing this topic. My mind flooded when I thought of favorite Force Awakens moments. There's so many little moments, so many big and meaningful moments, and I'm curious to see how the sort of love fest for Force Awakens ratchets up in the general Star Wars community, because it is I think it's a really special film all by itself. But it is also kind of a special film in the time that it came out. There was certainly some negativity around Force Awakens, but not compared to what was to come. And there were certainly some signs that the world in America was in for some rough and rocky times, but they hadn't quite arrived yet. So there's something about Force Awakens that just it as a film, it's so lovely and this great combination of this sort of a beaten down older generation who has been through some bleep, and the younger generation who's fresh and energetic. And even the film itself has just got like this great let's go energy until about halfway through, where things start to become really real for everybody, and then it does kind of slow down a little bit, and not in a negative way. So there's just like this entire film is just very fascinating to me with its push-pull of the sort of the innocence and the thrill, and it's young and it's new, but it's also got such a heavy heart underneath it all.
Well said. That's been part of the fun of looking back at 10 years. And yeah, 10 years it's a crazy number to say out loud, but going back to, how we all first took the film in, where were you? Who were you with? Where did you work? Like talking about a hopeful era at the time when this comes out in the winter of 2015, December 2015, like I finally have escaped my day job. I'm working at Screen Junkies. I got to go to the press screening. Life had begun for me, and life was re-beginning, renewing for Star Wars. The Force is truly awakening, and I was watching that and kind of contrast comparing to like what happens later on. A lot of great joys to experience.
Yes.
But like that job goes away. The whole company I worked for was a fraudulent company that was pretending to have money. Like it robbed people. and I just was watching an interview with actually Ian and Anthony of Smosh, who shared this offices with us, Screen Junkies. And they were looking back 10 years to like kind of when everything started to collapse. And I was just like, this is a weird time to be looking back. And here comes Force Awakens, all like happy and chipper. Like the future's looking good. We're back, baby. And that's a good feeling to hold on to right now, actually.
Yes, these are your first steps. Yeah, and I think it is just amazing to me. It does. The Force Awakens does have that similar magic to A New Hope, where the
Mm.
general feeling when you walk out of the theater is like bouncy, fun, forward moving, young generation. But then when you look at the actual events
Mm-hmm.
that happen,
Yep.
some horrible things happen, and yet the overall effect of the film is to make you go, "The future's bright. Let's go."
Future is bright. We've got to wear Kylo Ren shades. So we're going to rank 10 to 1. We're going to alternate. Joseph, you're going to start so you could
Okay.
also. Oh, wait, no, take it back. Take it back. Did I do that wrong? Yes. You're going to go second. So that way we
Okay.
can end with you at number 1. I'm good at the math there. So yeah, if you listen to Star Wars ranked over the years, you know what's going on. But like I said, I thought maybe we'd done, Joseph, our favorite moments. But I guess that kind of came later in the format. We would watch a movie and then go rank our favorite moments. But Force Awakens, Star Wars rank came a little bit later. It wasn't,
Mm.
it didn't exist. So I don't think we've gone back in this way. However, like I said, the now does change how we look at this movie. There might be a smaller moment that does mean something more to us 10 years after. So I have no idea where this list is going to go.
Yeah, no, this was a tough one for me, as they all are, but tough between the moment, like the whole scene versus a little
Mm-hmm.
moment within the scene is a
Mm-hmm.
tough decision.
That's true too. I actually listed the same moment twice, realizing well, that's a tinier part of it. How about we just include the big part? So, all right, without further ado, let us go ahead and get to Star Wars ranked, our favorite Force Awakens moments now. I'll begin with number 10. And I'm going back to the beginning of the film pretty much, having just rewatched this film. I loved it then. It's a moment we've discussed before, is what I call the sigh of relief of, oh, I think this is going to be okay, because we just didn't know. A new Star Wars film, a lot of pressure on it. And that is the opening of Kylo and Poe Dameron, not Dameron. I think we forget that it's Poe Dameron, according to Oscar Isaac in early interviews. I'm playing Poe Dameron. It's their confrontation. It is the what happens? You talk first. I talk first. I can't hear. I love that moment. I love what's at stake. I love the exposition that's being dropped on us. I think Max von Sydow's in this moment as well for me too. It's all kind of
Hmm.
the opening to an all village sequence, but specifically their interaction. And establishing Poe as a guy with a little banter. And remember, the press was like, "He's our new Han Solo." That's not fair to him.
Hmm.
That's not fair to Han Solo. It's not fair to. It's not true, but that's how it was marketed. And this kind of met that moment. And I personally, I've talked about how you got the opening crawl, which I think is great, and then you kind of pan, you're looking up, and the ships come down. And initially, I was like, the Toonall Village set looks a little bit too much like a set, and I had this weird like, oh, it's 10 years ago. I took in Star Wars slightly differently, but I had this
Hmm.
like, oh, I don't know. Does this look good? Does this feel good? What's happening here? And it wasn't until this exchange, and quite frankly, it wasn't until Oscar Isaac did the what happens? We talk first. I talk first. That was the moment, and I got to start it out at number 10 with that.
That is great. Yeah, no, I mean, and if you're including the whole Lor Santeca,
Mm,
denying the truth of your family, and in Kylo's, sarcastic little, "You're so right." Um,
you're so
But in particular with the Poe versus Kylo banter battle right here,
mm-hmm.
um, it is one of those great moments I was thinking about when we were having a discussion recently on another episode of two things are being really well established of Poe's sort of defiance in the humor of the character and the humor of Star Wars. You talk first, I talk first. But the line is just so hard to understand with the apparatus. And, he gets yanked up and interrupted. Uh, but it is this kind of classic Star Wars, the organic versus the mechanical of you
Mm-hmm.
want to be so scary, so I'm going to use humor to pierce it. But in particular, making fun of him for the mask, which we'll later realize that was a home run of a little jab, because
Yeah.
Kylo feels insecure about the mask, about the symbol of, I'm not actually scarred like my grandfather. I don't really need the mask. I'm
Yeah.
wearing it like a cosplayer, but I
Mm-hmm.
want it to be real. I'm trying to convince myself it's real. So it's like, damn, Poe, you don't even know how good you jabbed him with the apparatus.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's so true. It is obviously placed there with some intentionality, but I remember the moment. Like again, it's a funny line, But I remember thinking, wow, that's almost meta, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have a character being like, "What's up with your mask, Vader?" Like you wouldn't have that. Maybe he'd kill them, but
Yeah.
and so then to see what happens, and then just to have this movie be about the masks we have on, or the masks we put on, and the masks we take off, and that kind of theme running through, a home run of a line delivered with perfection. And you're right, comically cut off, I think, by Oscar Isaac.
With the I've read it. Yep. And the frozen blaster bolt is all part of it, which was very new and fun. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely was. Yeah, a new force ability, which was celebrated then, and then later on, people seem to have problems with new force abilities. But we're not going to get negative here. So we're off and running there. That is number 10. Kylo and Poe Dameron in the 2-and-all village. But Joseph, we are on your first choice in our number 9.
Yeah, so a part of this format that's fun for me is we don't know what one another is going to pick. We can guess. So there's the we'll accidentally step on one another's toes, but also like we've run into this sometimes where we want the number one to be worthy of number one, and I think almost all of my picks are number ones.
Yes,
potentially.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with something that I think, yeah. All right. I'm going to go with this. My number 9 of Star Wars moments is a way to continue to celebrate how great the banter is in The Force Awakens, and that the fun of being on a fast-moving adventure, characters getting to know each other, and it is BB-8's thumbs up. With the lighter.
Yeah.
But also all of the banter leading up to it. We've been on this kind of like great. We're going. We meet Poe. We have Finn and Poe's escape, which is full of banter that I could put in the top moments. Then we have Finn and Rey and their banter and the hand holding and the fun of the Falcon taking off and all sorts of stuff. It's been going at this great clip, and now we get here where Finn in particular, now we're in this kind of complicated dance where Finn and Rey are sort of bonded, but they're in this new world, but there's a push-pull of maybe she wants to go back to Jakku. He's kind of trying to pretend to be a resistance person. BB-8 is stuck in the middle, and there's the great moment where BB-8 is really unsure of what Finn is saying and rolls back of like... He says, "I'm not really with resistance," and then BB-8's like, "Oh, well, crap. Who might you really be?" And the begging to just lie about him being a resistance member and tell Rey it's the Ilenian system. All of that building up to the thumbs up of this little sort of charade between the two of them. I think it's just such a great example of the quality of the banter and the pacing. The world in general is pretty down on old J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
So a theme that will come up for me again and again is to appreciate his work. Certainly the editor put that scene together, but under his direction. He directed those actors. He directed those BB-8 puppeteers. He directed the editing. And it's just great classic banter that I think Force Awakens might be up there with the banter of the new age of Star Wars.
I recall one of my first public reviews was on Screen Junkies. We did one of those little 10-minute videos on set there. And I remember being surprised, but also really celebratory of the fact that this is a really funny movie. Like, this is funny. And Empire Strikes Back might be the funniest of the original trilogy, which is maybe another debate to have another time. But I really, and this moment's pretty big because BB-8 was on goddamn oranges. Like, BB-8 was the lead in a lot of ways of like, look at us, this practical robot's coming out, and droids were. And this moment could have failed. This is up there for me, and I'm not just being hyperbolic. It's up for me of like, hey, what if the sequel to A New Hope had a puppet? Like, what if Luke was with a puppet for a long time? Like, do you think that could work? We'll bring in Frank Oz. He's pretty good. And then it's a home run. BB-8 is the new droid to the point where, R2's hibernating. C-3PO's, got a little backup role here. He's the lead droid, and it could have failed. and all those oranges could have been thrown away, but that thumbs up sealed them.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and bang on 10 years on, BB-8 was the guy, and then Grogu just kicked him to the curb. You could easily do a comedy sketch of a bitter BB-8. It was like, I was riding high. I was rolling high. I was the new cute thing in Star Wars for 5 minutes.
It's true. It's true. Great moment. Thumbs up. Memeable moment. And I think within that sequence, don't we get the kind of the BB-8 sound that I think becomes the theme? Tony Thaxton put as the theme as Happy Beeps here on the channel. I think it's in that sequence.
It is. It's how he says Ilenium System is the really musical BB-8 beep.
I'm bad with beeps. Love it. All right. Any final thoughts on your number 9 moment? Or we'll move
I think that was plenty. That was plenty.
There's plenty on the thumbs up. All right. I'll give you a thumbs up, sir. All right. My number 8. All right, I swear, I want to get to some big heavy hitters. You're right. There's so many potential number ones. And then part of the fun of this show is leaving off something and then having someone yell at us for leaving off their personal favorite, which is truly part of the fun. I really mean that. But all right, I'm going to really lean on the now with this moment, having done a rewatch and a half pretty recently. I did like this moment. I think it was part of a trailer moment that was like, oh, cool, we got some cool stuff coming. But I overlooked it, and going back to early reviews about the music, the maestro, John Williams. I remember being on Collider Jedi Council saying, I don't know about the music. It's got some good stuff. I like that Rey song, but I don't know. I haven't listened to it enough. It seemed to lack big themes, right? I really wish I could kick myself in the face sometimes in the past. This movie is full of a lot of great themes, and this moment for me at number 8 is the X-Wings arrive. The Resistance is here. Swimming, just almost swimming across the water. We got Han, Finn, and Chewie captured. The Maz's castle is destroyed. Poe, the Black Squadron, everyone showing up there, and the Resistance theme, man, and they're skimming the water, and it's classic Star Wars, and it looks great. I don't care if it's practical or whatever. I don't care if JJ and Lawrence held things up on popsicle sticks. It looked amazing, and it's so fun. And it's so Star Warsy, and I still hum that theme, like badly because I don't have any musical talent. But and when it pops up in other places, I'm like, oh God, I love that. I love that. Last Jedi uses it really well, and I think I owe it to this moment. So my number 8 is the Resistance is here. The X-Wings have arrived.
It is really great, and I think to your point, the back and forth about is it practical, is it CGI, is like it does it feel real, does it work emotionally is what's important. In that moment works emotionally. I think the very different from other Star Wars cinematography sort of tracking shot of watching Poe blast through like something like 17 TIE fighters and then landing back on Finn for the big woo moment of now that's a pilot kind of thing. It's a really, really cool shot, and it's great storytelling because I think it pumps us, the audience, up. And it's also a moment in retrospect that sort of it builds up to the conflict of The Last Jedi and the conflict of youth, mirrors Luke's sort of conflict of like hope and winning the battle are important, but just blowing things up is not going to win the battle at the end of the day. And it's fun to look back at. It's such a cool moment where Poe blows up this many TIE fighters.
Video game moment,
And Finn's like, yeah, that guy's a badass. And like, yes, but then they're going to go on to learn some other things.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, man. I love that sequence. I wish you got to spend a little more time at Maz's castle. Not just in the film, but I'd go back. I'd still take a Maz series where it's like a sitcom set in Maz's castle.
Yeah, the destruction is hard. It's worth it for her saying those beasts. Beasts. Yeah.
What you just said is that part of it could be one of your favorite moments. I didn't list it, but Force Awakens is new to us, to you and I, and Jennifer, and a lot of generations. It's the new one. It's part of the new era, and it's so easy to be like, it doesn't have those classic things. Like, John Williams didn't come up with a good theme, and then 10 years on, like. Those beasts, like it's just in my heart and soul as much as anything from the original trilogy of the prequels.
It's iconic. It's iconic, and and it's fun to see which other things will rise to be iconic.
The iconic indeed. All right, number 8. Now to your number 7.
Okay, this is one that I might be stealing from you. I'm sorry.
That's fair. That's fair.
And this is one where I'm going to go with the moment within a larger context, but it is a kind of a perfect synergy of all of the tools of film. My number 7 is specifically going to be Rey's slide down the sand hill on Jakku with her theme really kicking into high gear.
Absolutely.
That entire sequence we've talked about, we both love that short film, as you've described it, to a really degree, of meeting Rey. We meet everybody with their masks and then see a little bit beneath the mask, but we see her life of this sort of, we learn so much without dialogue of she lives her life literally in the wreckage of the past, longing for a future, but she's a practical, skilled woman who's grown up hard in this barren, difficult environment. We learn that her life is also kind of drudgery. We learn so many things. But then there's that moment, even before we get to her putting the helmet on, when she goes down the hill, and it's this long, beautiful shot. It's very practical. It's very resourceful, but it's also childlike. And you see this young woman who is got a hard life, digging for scraps on the wreckage of the past. But then we immediately see that there is something sort of like hopeful about her life, and that damn music, which is just, I mean, I'm not always good at picking out themes right away, but that one just hit me in the face. And it is a filmmaking choice also to leave room for the music to shine, which is Williams is amazing. But I think one of the reasons that the Star Wars themes can be so powerful is he is often given room for the music to shine, because he's not competing with dialogue and sound effects all the time. The camera work, Rey's acting, Daisy Ridley's acting is telling us who she is, but that music is so that soft, gentle, childlike, but still like full of resolve music, and just so tender and hopeful and longing, and just so much in that theme. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Home run of a pick. Absolute home run of a pick here, because mini ranked within a ranked. Yoda's theme, Imperial March, Vader's theme, Rey's theme would be my top 3 themes. And then we got Leia's theme, we got the Ewoks back. There's a lot of great themes. But I'm like you too, like our buddy Mark Riley will be like, oh, I love that little moment. And I'll be like, how did you pick out that moment? Like there's asteroids and blasters and everything. I don't remember that moment. But what you're describing too, we celebrated the intro of Rey's character many times here on this channel. We will do again this wonderful little short film, but I really think this is the moment. And there'll be a lot of times, whether it would be going back to the theater in that opening month or two, or popping in the DVD before Disney Plus, or now Disney Plus, where if I'm like, I'm kind of in a Force Awakens mood, I think this moment subconsciously pops up in my heart. Because I love meeting Rey. I love everything about it. And this theme is everything you've said and more. We know John Williams loves it. He's talked about it. It comes back in the next 2 movies so wonderfully. I hope it comes back again. I trust it will come back again. But this initial moment, and there's a pause, right? Right before she slides, there is this kind of just emotional pause. And the music is in focus. And I think I've returned to this film so many times for this moment. So it's a wonderful pick.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is. It's. I think there's something so relatable about it. Her mood and the mood of the music. I think sometimes we're drawn to things that are just cathartic. And you and I are both talking about like spending a lot of time alone, but also longing to be with people. Yeah. And like, I bet that's how Rey felt, of like, I'm so lonely. I'll go into town. Everybody's an asshole.
1.5 portions.
Like,
at least we're talking.
Yeah.
It is like,
all right.
I experienced this when I went to Henry's Tacos, which is a historic location. I used to live by it. And I went over there, and I haven't been there in like 12 years. And the soft tacos that used to be $3 are like $6.50 now. And I just was like, 1.5 portions, but all right, I'll take.
Rey's theme plays while you mournfully eat your tacos.
right, that is great choice at number 7, and it puts a little bit of pressure on my number 6. I'm gonna, yeah, okay, I have a Ray moment. I'm gonna actually maybe move that off because I think that'd be talking about the same emotional things. The number 6 choice here. My next choice is definitely something affected by, unfortunately, real world and definitely now, but it is the final embrace of Han and Leia. The go get them, all that stuff, go get our son, all that stuff's been happening, but there's the quiet moment outside there in the cars is Han is about to go on the Falcon and go to Starkiller Base, and they have hey, it wasn't all bad, we had some good times kind of dialogue, and that hug that was in the trailer, something I remember you celebrating along the themes of, hey, we get to see old people. And old people get to do things with emotions and purpose and poignancy. So there's that hanging over it. And then there's the sad reality of Carrie Fisher. There's also the in-story reality that we kind of had a sense, even in the trailer, but kind of had a sense in that moment. You're like, this doesn't seem good for Han's chances, right? And all the cynical Harrison comes back to bury the character kind of conversation, which true or not, that was there, but you had that kind of sense. And so it was a moment that you kind of mentally put a picture frame around. And going back to it now, I'm so glad it's there. And of all the what ifs and all the could they have done this and all the, hey, the big three weren't on screen, I got it. And I'm there for some of those points and conversations and what ifs too. But I'm so glad we have this moment. I'm so glad we got to see it. And Han and Leia, man, we grew up with them. This was the love story of our time that got realistically complicated in a way that I like, others don't like. I love that they were separated. I love that they both retreated to who they were after this big trauma. I think that's very real. And so to have them come back and have this moment, it was really earned for me, and I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you picked this moment. If you see our son, bring him home is such a great line. But there is something about allowing that Leia's face to be, I mean, it's both of them in the hug, but it's Leia's face. And you're right, there is a meta element of it, is Carrie Fisher's face. And it is there's so many fun moments of awakening in The Force Awakens of, the garbage will do, even, Leia and Han seeing one another, and 3PO's great, joke about getting in the way of interrupting that. But this is it's such a beautiful and real moment. I think there's such clarity in both of their conversations, but in this one in particular of like, we love each other and we always have, but we've always had a little bit of a sort of a bickering relationship, and that wasn't going to get us through this trauma, but we were totally aligned on, there were great moments, and, I hated seeing you go, and that's why I did it, is so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think just allowing that to see that pain and anguish in this movie that is very bouncy and fun, and let's get Star Wars. Star Wars is back. There's going to be weird aliens and practical robots, and Carrie Fisher's going to break your heart. And I think for me that the journey that those actual two humans have been on as well, of like, her book hadn't even come out, and we hadn't even known like that their relationship was even more complicated than we realized.
Yeah,
but they started, different ages, but they started their careers together, and to have them kind of come back to each other as actors in this moment too was really powerful.
Yeah, I just think of Harrison in one of those interviews describing her. Carrie's got a lot of gall, just who she is at this moment and these characters. There we go. Number 6, Han and Leia's final embrace, and the pressure is really on. We've reached our top 5, but your third pick here.
Yeah, now my third picks could all be number 1s.
Truly.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna do it. It's interesting. There's so many fun and funny moments. You could easily do a list of just fun moments in The Force Awakens. And I find myself gravitating though to the feeling like I can't not include the ones with more weight to them. I don't know why. But anyway, my number 5 is going to be specifically the moment of the final shot in the film. Now, I could pick half of the moments in the entire Jedi Steps, and I'm probably stepping. I know the whole Jedi Step sequence is
I love it. I love
absolutely
it.
one of your favorites, and it is so good. Um, I could pick out lots of individual shots of Mark Hamill. Man, the hood coming down, the mechanical hand, wondering
Yeah.
why did he never get that synth skin back up? What's going on?
That breath.
And her insistence with the saber and the longing on her face.
Yeah.
But I think that part of the reason I wanted to include this is I think man, I saw it just yesterday. You know how when you're on Instagram, they'll give you the first half of a post from Threads, and it's always something incredibly inflammatory to make you try to click it. Like it's not
Yes.
enough. It's like the first half of clickbait that they do on purpose, right?
And I'm always like, I don't want to go back to you, Threads, but I got to see what this guy said.
And I resisted because I was enough this time to see what it was. But it was, get this, Ken. Somebody 10 years out has figured out that Force Awakens is just A New Hope again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, let me write that one down.
Yeah. Write that one down.
Huge if true. Huge if true.
If true, we have to reject all these moments we've been talking about. Like, yeah, structurally and in many ways it is, and yeah, I get that. I can sometimes think, yeah, maybe it should have been different ships than X-wings and TIE fighters, whatever.
Yep. Sure.
Other people love that. The reason I want to pick this out is I do think that there is, as we've discussed, not just the characters archetypes being played with. There is a lot of different style in the filmmaking, in the way that the camera moves. There is definitely homages to 70s, 80s filmmaking, and there's always a sort of a Spielbergian sense of wonder in some of the specific moves that really enforce Spielbergian wonder. But this final shot I wanted to highlight because it's a very different ending from other Star Wars films. And it's a very different style of shot for whatever other inventions that Star Wars had. Lucas really liked very flat, very theatrical wide shot is the last shot in a Star Wars film. So to turn that on its head and say, it's actually a helicopter or drone. I don't know how they did it, but probably helicopter in those days. A Steadicam type shot rotating around these two figures. So these two figures are still, right? They're locked in a big moral question on a practical level. What's he going to say? Is he going to take the saber? What is she going to do if he doesn't take the saber? They're locked in this very sort of still emotional standoff, but it's given this energy by the camera moving fast around the standoff, and it still gets Luke exactly centered when the circle comes in, so it still sort of fits the general structure of the Star Wars ending. It's a very different camera move that gives this quiet standoff this great energy, and all of that is in service of let's end the film on, as Mark Hamill has joked, a literal cliffhanger of celebrating the serial nature that Star Wars exploded from. In even the episodes that are kind of cliffhangers into what's next, A New Hope and The Phantom Menace both have a sense of this chapter is resolved. Like they blew up the Death Star, they saved Naboo. Empire and Attack of the Clones both are sort of cliffhangers of what will happen next, but like the immediate action is resolved and people are kind of looking to the future. They're wondering what's going to happen next, but it's not like an actual old adventure serial cutting off in the moment of like, no, but literally what happens exactly next, not what happens big picture next. What happens right now next was really different. So I wanted to celebrate not only the cliffhanger, the very direct cliffhanger, but the way it was shot.
This counts as the entire Jedi Step sequence for me, so I'm gonna remove it from my list. You got there, you took it from me in a great way. I do love it. I'm having both memories of 2015. I remember Patton Oswalt tweeting out on the site that we used to have called Twitter. He tweeted out, "This is like the greatest ending in Star Wars to this point." The emotional weight that takes us to this final shot is so clear, and Ray going up the steps, everything about it. We've talked about it for years, and go check out those episodes. But yeah, the final shot, man. And yeah, I don't know if you heard this too, Joseph. You may go to Threads, but like some people have some opinions on what happens after that moment with the blade and Star Wars Episode 8. There's some conversation about it, but what a way to! I still think it's a brave way to end this film. I will stand by that. I still think it is a brave choice to not have Luke appear to the end. And again, I am understanding and sometimes agree on some level with the man. We bring Star Wars back. The big three never appear on screen together. That is still something I wrestle with. But the reason I don't at the end of the day kind of accept that is because of this brave choice for me. It was a very artistic choice. It was a very bold storytelling choice, and it's a Saturday morning serial. And now you want to tune in to the next one, and oh boy, did we! And did we have some theories, including did you see the gravestone? But that is a different conversation. But just the shot too. Yeah, I like the shot. I'm with you. Let's celebrate that shot as it swirled our anticipation for the stories to come.
Yeah, you're in this sense of movement. You're wanting to know next, and then you're rudely cut off from it, but in an exciting way of truly wanting to know what happens next. Yeah.
I love it. Small moments do make the big ones here. So now we're on to my number 4, and oh boy, the gauntlet's been thrown down. I am going to risk. Maybe I might risk that one. I think you'll do that one. But there's that one. All right. Oh man. Okay.
No, it's really hard.
Yeah, because I don't want to. All right. We'll do a little bit of honorable mention, so I don't feel bad about leaving this next one off. But I'm going to go number 4 overall. It's something I've talked about, something I've written about, something we'll continue to celebrate. But I do love the Rey and Kylo mind off, their first actual battle. When she is captured, he has successfully read minds up until this point. He's even kind of read a lot of her mind. But when she finds the ability to fight back and expose him, that mask is off, and he takes it off so confidently. That hair comes flowing out. People kind of giggle in the theater. You know, he's got quite a hair, quite a haircut, that Kylo Ren, and it's his first big defeat. You know, there's little ones, there's little frustrations. Looking back, you see things are going great for Kylo. You start to see the cracks. His boss is a little upset with him. His coworker is needling him. He's got some things going on. But this is that moment. And when that helmet that heavy helmet crashes down into the ashes of his victims there, as we learn later on in some of the supplemental material. But just her, it's a victory, but then it's also this first kind of intimate connection. And in a weird way, I always call it Kylo's first defeat, but in a weird way, there's Ben in there. You and I talking about, hey, you can go 55 hours without talking to a human, but then you got to talk the ear off someone. I think there's a little bit of wow, this is scary. She knows my fears, but also she's the first person to see me. I think that's there, and maybe that's the benefit of now and where the story goes. But it is this first moment that builds so much, and it is this confrontation that also underneath it has this absolutely large amount of emotional connection. And I think that's key to their relationship. And I think this one, as much as it was celebrated in 2015 by us and many other podcasters, I think it can be forgotten because it's so early on in the run. So I'm going to stand up for it. The Rey and Kylo mind off.
Yeah, that is great, and that is chock full of great individual moments. I will say, I don't think there's a moment like this in A New Hope. This is a different relationship. I think one could argue that there's a similarity in that Luke and Vader end up being more intimately connected in the story of what do you do when you have a connection to the villain, but that really develops an empire, and this starts off right away. And there's also so much of I think a lesser version of this film would have handed the audience, would have whacked the audience over the head of why did Leia and Han's son and Luke's star student, why did he walk away from everything? Why did he turn to the evil even though he feels the pull to the light? And there's so many kind of clues along the way, but this scene has so many of them that you see a father figure in Han Solo. He would have disappointed you. You really get the sense of like, oh, this is a guy who feels like his his parents rejected him, and he is throwing this large scale galactic violent tantrum over these feelings of rejection. But then that lets you into like, oh, it's not there's a sense of like she is powerful too, but she is also full of rejection and longing. And there's it's a lot going on in that scene. In that sense of entitlement, that I think that one of the great things about Kylo, and it comes out even more, of course, in the Force battle with, that lightsaber belongs to me. That sense of, I entirely reject the past. I entirely reject my family. Also, I'm entitled to the legacy of my family. I'm entitled to the legacy of Vader. I'm entitled to that lightsaber. I'm entitled to the legacy of the Skywalker power.
I'm entitled to your mind, even. Like, I'm here. You have no agency in this moment, Rey. And then she finds it. Yeah.
Yeah, and all that. There's so much status stuff of like, what girl, I think is very purposeful. And a scavenger, there's so much of like, a girl, a scavenger, all these people who are supposed to be beneath you. You also learn how much he is tied up in these very sad games of entitlement and who is supposed to have power versus who does have power, which is everybody.
Yeah. Everybody. Love it. All right. Great stuff. All right. We're getting down to it. Your second to last choice here, but our number 3 overall.
Yeah, I got two options, and I think, and I'm sure you know what one of them is. So I'm going to do that one. I think anybody who has listened to us knows what that one is. I'm doing it, Ken. Going for it. My number 3 is what we have often called on the show, the cheek touch that saved the galaxy. Or at least helped save the galaxy. There's so many great moments in the scene where Kylo murders his father, Han Solo. The performance between the two of them is fantastic. I can't tell you how many times a week Kylo's "I want to be free of this pain" goes through my head. I have a hard time opening up a package of shredded cheese that goes through my head. I want to be free of this pain. It's so well done and so true. Of like, I've set myself up for this. I need to shred all of my sentiment, any possibility of connection or love, and then I'll have all this power, and I will have unlocked the dark side, and that means freedom, and then I'll be free, and I'll feel fine. It's so good. I got so involved in the film that I remember the moment that I was sitting there remembering, oh yeah, Han Solo's going to die, because everybody had talked about it. It's like, it makes so much sense that that's what Harrison Ford wanted in Return of the Jedi. He maybe he wouldn't come back for all 3 films, and how would it affect if he did? And he is kind of the Obi-Wan character. Okay. There's that overhead shot of him walking out toward Kylo, or it's right after he and Chewie are going to split up, right? And I remember that like being like, oh, I'm about to watch the scene where Han Solo dies, and there's so much going on in this scene, where the first time I watched it, I had so much investment in like how he dies because I had lived with that character for so long. My brother loved that character. So in a way, he always reminds me of my brother, but he also reminds me of my dad. Like, my dad has a beat up old leather jacket, like Han's beat up old leather jacket, and grumbling about some moof milker, putting the wrong compression thing. It's the way my dad talks about his 1950 Chevrolet panel truck. I felt like not just watching a character, because it isn't like Marvel, where like, I read a comic where Captain America dies, and there'll be a different one where he didn't die because he's Captain America. And like, this is Han Solo. This is how Han Solo dies, the one and only time. So much wrapped up in it. And I remember the power of that cheek touch the first time. We've talked about it a ton, but it is just the power of Han Solo's journey, which has only become more powerful and more clear with the Solo film, of somebody who loves deeply, cares deeply, but is afraid of connection, knowing he didn't always make his son feel as loved as he could, knowing it was the last mission his wife and the love of his life gave him, to say I'm going to do the scariest thing I possibly can. I'm going to be totally open and emotional and honest and make my son feel loved and beg him to come home and tell him he's missed and all those things. That in itself is amazing. But then the cheek touch, it makes his death is sad and violent, but it makes his death not anywhere near as sad or violent, because it is this incredibly powerful portrait of love and forgiveness, of, son, I love you so much. There is nothing you can do that I won't still love me. You killed me for no reason, and I still love you, is so powerful. And I think I'm so glad that they paid it off in Rise of Skywalker, and such a great defeat of what Ben Solo is trying to do to himself. Of, I have convinced myself that all this is worth it because my parents didn't really love me. They threw me away. And just like, that's all taken away from him with the cheek touch.
Yeah, the cheek touch is absolutely haunting for Kylo Ren, but it's a lifeline for what is left of Ben Solo, right? It is that thing that clearly he clings on to in many different ways. Yeah, this is perfect at number 3 for discussion of this film. This, for me, might be the most important moment in ForceCenter's history, as I have discussed before. But yeah, I've tried to process my initial reaction to Han's death, being cynical about it, being a little snarky. I don't like it. I saw it coming. To what came later, listening to you speak about it, listening to other people talk about it, what it meant to them, and then not only just how it pays off in 9, but this is the first example of stop talking about things just simply about based on how you saw it, and also how you took it in. It's important to have the context. I've sit in the theater that first time going, "Oh, this is it. This is the moment. This is the moment. He's gonna die. Look at that. It couldn't be more obvious. It couldn't be more obvious. Yeah. He's gonna die." And that's one way to take things in, or you can actually listen to what is going on in the scene, pay attention to little moments. This is also the moment that phrase, emotional canon that we use around here, kind of is based on this moment, because in trying to even talk off air with friends, going, no, like, we met Han Solo in 1977, or for other people along the way, but as a world, we met him in 1977. And really one of the first things he's doing is he's running away from what he's supposed to do and what he feels he needs to do. And I think that's why Solo, the movie, works so well, because it dives into that. Why Ray Carson's book, Most Wanted, deals with some great stuff from Kira's point of view, how she sees Han, because how Han sees her. It's all there. And this is the arc. This is 40 years of a character who's run away. This film, he has run away. He's on the Irvana because he's run away. And when you had said, it wasn't just that you had said some nice, wonderful words about the scene. You had told me, and you were on Jedi Alliance with Mark Donica, and you were like, Leia gives him this thing of go get our son. And it's the last thing she asks of him, and it's the last thing that he knows that he must do. That is what his death is about. And he doesn't run away from it. He doesn't run away from it, and it costs him his life. But even in that final moment, the touching of the cheek isn't just it is a act of compassion and connection and love and forgiveness that keeps Ben Solo alive deep down inside Kylo. And it's fueled so many of our conversations. It's changed how I looked at Star Wars, and it's also a great moment. So, well done.
It's just a great moment of tragedy too. It's a tragedy. It's horrible. And every time I watch it, it works the way a tragedy does. Of like, you think like, well, this film's done. It's not a choose your own adventure. It's not going to be different this time. But every time I watch it, I still like feel in my gut like, oh, what if he got through to him? You know. And it's the beauty of Rise of Skywalker, where Ben is clearly playing out of what if I handled that differently. Yeah. I'll also say, I think just in terms of the looking back at Force Awakens and how it fits into everything now, and those criticisms of A New Hope, I think some of its similarities to New Hope are to provide contrast. It is very similar to, we got to go after the Death Star, and we got to blow it up before it blows us up. Han wants to run away. Han wants to be out for himself, and you see the gap in his emotional armor when he's tries to bring Luke along. It's like, why don't you come with us instead? You're pretty good. And like, oh, Mr. Solo, you want to touch Luke's cheek right now. you want that connection, but you're not going to admit it. Instead of having to be convinced, cajoled, yelled at by Chewie off screen, as we believe, to turn around and help Luke, he volunteers. I'll go get the shields down. Finn is ready to leave, and he's like, we can't leave. The galaxy is depending on us. So there's this like huge change in Solo where he understands the stakes of being an agent of a rebellion, of of the galaxy depending on him. So you get this big picture victory of him going there, him saying we can't leave until the job is done. And then, it does really bug me when people are like, oh, how stupid, like Han Solo, walk out on a bridge with no rails with a guy with a lightsaber. It's so dumb. Like, you think Han Solo didn't know? Like, I'm rolling my dice and the odds are not in my favor. That's what makes it so brave that he goes out there.
You're also, this could spin off into just a Han Solo and the Force Awakens conversation, but like, the escalation of his commitment. When Maz has that conversation with you, like, Han, go back, you idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's one of the big final, like, Han, you're better than this moments. He does go back, and we're going to blow it up. And all right, so it's bigger. We'll figure it out. And that's not how the Force works. And then the whole, like, those are our friends. We got some explosives. Let's go back. Boom, 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 boom. And this is the biggest one. And to drop everything, including his DL-44, is not in this moment. It's not in this scene. He's not going to confront him. It's not a confrontation, right? It is this emotional openness. It is Han stepping out to face his destiny, not run away. It's the big choice there. Love it.
So good.
Talk about it for hours. Talk about Han. All right. That is number 3. Number 2. Oh boy. Do you do that, or do I do that one? Do that?
I don't know at this point. There's so many ones left.
It could be
number 1.
This is the risk. I love doing this. I'm gonna trust that. I'm gonna trust in the Force. I'm gonna stick with Han. I'm gonna stick with Chewie, and I just absolutely think it is what it is. Sometimes the answer is the answer. I used to say that on movie fights all the time, okay? Even when I was drunk. I'm going to go. The number 2 moment is Chewie. We're home. I just... Did that change things for you?
No, I'm really glad that you included it.
Okay. We just spoke a lot about Han. We just spoke a lot about everything there, so I don't need to belabor it. But it is, I think, the greatest trailer moment in Star Wars because of what it meant. It is meta. Both they knew what they were doing with the film. They knew what they were doing with the shot. It mirrors old promotional footage. I remember you breaking that down early on in ForceCenter. It's all of that. And I can't separate it from the trailer. I wasn't there in that panel that day. I was driving back from Las Vegas. I watched this on my phone in Prim, Nevada, on the border, California, Nevada, as the file slowly, tried to download from my internet connection out in the desert, and it's perfection. And then to see it in the film, it still caught me kind of unawares, they play it well enough to where now maybe again through the perspective of time, it's not the First Order. Finn's saying it. You got the red light. It looks like we don't know this ship, but we kind of heard, Han's on another ship. That kind of stuff had been kind of there. They got the Falcon, so we know Han's going to have this moment, right? It was we knew it was coming, but it still hits. And having just watched it even just last week, I had a big smile on my face. And it is a moment that is both of the characters, it's of the story, it's of the generational, interactions with Star Wars we've had, and just what it means to be home. And even though this is only 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and we've had the Clone Wars, Star Wars didn't go away, but we didn't think it was coming back in this way. And this was that moment that kind of was telling a lot of folks of all ages, of all generations, we're home. Not just Han and Chewie on the Falcon. Star Wars is back. We're all home, baby. And I'm still moved by the moment. I still have a big smile on my face when I watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in context, there's so much meta context to
It's
it,
meta.
obviously, but between the angle of the shot mirroring the same famous promotional photo and the yes, uh, we as Star Wars fans are home. Not just Star Wars is back, but Harrison Ford is back,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, and it is. There's so much to relate in the meta and the commentary on did you not like the prequels or did you not like too much CG? Don't worry, we're back, we're home. Um,
Yeah.
but it's also just like great from Han being pretty
Mm-hmm.
emotional with Chewie
Yeah.
of getting a little bit of his mojo back, right? Of that, I love how much the Eravana is just like that is a garbage ship. That is a
Horrible.
boring, ugly block of crap for Han Solo. It's not cool block of
It's like,
crap like the
Han,
Millennium Falcon is like.
yeah. Han, why don't you drive? You're driving a Cybertruck, man? Oh, come on. Come on, man.
Yeah,
You're a
the
Silverado guy.
there the Force Awakens is also like that's a great man. I'm sure the marketing people were doing flips, if not
Yeah.
directly super involved with that title. But I also just think it works so well artistically. There's so many images of Awakening, from the sheet coming off the Falcon to the sheet
Mm-hmm.
coming off of R2, from R2 literally awakening,
Yeah.
from Luke turning around and the hood coming down. This is a moment of awakening of like, yeah, I've wanted my ship back for all these years and we've been really happy to have my ship, but it's harder for me to deny who I am
Mm.
when I have this ship back.
Yeah.
And for Han's sort of vulnerability to, express that to Chewie,
Yeah.
that this is our the idea of home is that sense of place and the two of us together.
Yeah.
Han's selfish. He could have been Chewie, I'm home, but it's we're home.
And then in some alternate version, Chewie's like, "Hey man, no, I left my home like a sheep, man."
It's like, don't ever let Mala hear
Yeah.
you say that.
Mala, this is what Mala's been telling me, man. Like, she says I spend too much time with you.
Yeah.
But yes, no, well said, well said. It means so much, and it's fun, and I always want fun to be part of Star Wars.
Yeah, no, it is a big a pushback on cynicism.
It is.
Especially coming out of Harrison's mouth.
It is indeed. All right, we've done it almost. We're here to your final choice, our final choice as a show. We'll mention a couple of things in passing here in the honorable mentions, but I want to get to it. Your number one choice.
I have a terrible choice in front of me, Ken. Do I go with what I was thinking for my number one, or do I pivot? I have two competing things that could be number one.
Mm.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with honesty.
Okay.
And then we can talk about the one that I'm ashamed of leaving off in the runner-ups. But this is going to be a Han Solo hat trick. It's
Oh, look at this.
another Han Solo moment, which I feel guilty about because the film introduces us so many wonderful new characters and important new moments. But I'm just really feeling this one right now.
Okay. Okay.
It is the moment where Han is telling the next generation, Rey and Finn, that those myths they heard aren't myths, and that magic is real. That there is a larger galaxy than you can even imagine. The specific dialogue, he talks about. I used to think it was a bunch of mumbo jumbo, and then that great older Harrison Ford rumble, crazy thing. It's true. Force, the Jedi, all of it. And in particular, that final shot, the push in through that galactic map on Han Solo. Many people have pointed out, this is the same spot in the Falcon and around the same time in the movie that he told Luke Skywalker in A New Hope that he thought this was all just malarkey.
Yeah.
It is, I think, another meta moment that is made more powerful by the fact that it's delivered by Harrison Ford and by Han Solo. I think the power of it, J.J. Abrams talked a lot about how the idea of doing Force Awakens unlocked for him when he thought of what if the characters in the Star Wars galaxy felt like we did about the characters of the original trilogy, that they were
Mm-hmm.
sort of wispy legends, and that sets up so much. It sets up the great arc with our older characters of like, we may have done things that became legends, but we're humans with all those fallibility. It's not
Mm-hmm.
as easy as just being a legend, and that tracks all the way through to Poe's conversation with Lando of like, you're humans making choices always. It sets up their kind of need for Han to be legendary in an interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is powerful, of course, because Han, the character, doubted it, and Han being like, oh, I can't deny the truth of what I've seen. I've been surrounded by it. It's my whole family.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
makes rocks moves with their mind. I can't deny it. Um, but the way the shot is constructed, I just really want to celebrate of like, okay, it's a real practical thing of like, well, they're looking at the map for Luke, and he's telling the story and that. But it takes this space in the Falcon that is, broken down and sort of mundane and is the back of a VW, but in
Mm-hmm.
space, and it's cool and all that, but it's junky and practical and real and lived in. And in that map, it suddenly makes Han Solo cosmic. He is floating in the middle of the galaxy, saying all of these planets, all this stuff, it is all connected and it's all real. It's a great shot. That sense of Spielbergian wonder with the push in, but surrounded by that map. Beautiful sense of the cosmic. And then the reason that it's always resonated with me, and the reason I really wanted to include it, is I think Star Wars has many powers, but one of the things that really continued to draw me to it as a teen um, is this idea of the Force, this idea that you might be surrounded by all the sort of the anger and the fear of
Mm-hmm.
being a teen, the anger and fear of the 80s of AIDS, and
Mm-hmm.
is and nuclear war and like all that, but that's sort of like, take a deep breath, get in touch with your emotions, get in touch with your intuition, and the world isn't just angry noise and fear. There's something in us all that is deeper and calmer and connected. And if we listen to ourselves and our feelings, and we listen to the wind through the trees, we have a sense of something deeper and spiritual, however you choose to express it. And that sense of something deeper and spiritual is real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I used to get such comfort from rewatching the original trilogy, to just get that sense during all of my stress and fear and anxiety of growing up, that there is something real that connects us all and that it matters. And I think there's all this meta stuff. There's all this great storytelling stuff in terms of what it means to Ray and Finn to hear that, what it means to us to hear that from Harrison Ford. But I think to me, it's a reclaiming of the magic of Star Wars, of
Mm-hmm.
in stressful, broken, angry times, just remember that there is something deep and spiritual that connects us all, and it's worth it. It's worth it for even the most glib,
Mm-hmm.
uh, emotionally distant man in the galaxy to go, it's true. It's sit in a park and read a poetry, and your life will change, man. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Han Solo saying that tingle you get when you watch your favorite movie and feel connected to other people. That's real. I think that is a part of the greatest power of Star Wars, of accepting, letting yourself believe that connection, and it's such an argument for it.
I love this. This is only controversial in what it might have left off, but we are two older white males that grew up with Star Wars, and that's our perspective. And this is why, number one, we always miss Jen, but two, why we do it for all of you. And also later in this week, at the time of this recording, we're going to hear from you all about your favorite moments. But
Mm-hmm.
here's what I love about this moment now. It has been a theme in our discussions, you and I, banging that drum of all this stuff matters, from Jar Jar Binks and his place in the story
Mm-hmm.
to Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan saying, "Yeah, all that stuff I was told as a kid, the myth, the story. It's the little stories you tell kids. It's
Mm-hmm.
real. This pop culture is something I say a lot, meaning like I didn't grow up watching Rembrandt films. I didn't watch Rembrandt paint or anything that you told me, and which is all great, by the way. And you all should have an appreciation for art and history. But we were served up this stuff, and this stuff was looked down upon by so many other folks, but we were put in front of it, and it formed us in good ways, man. This isn't a moral panic, video games made us bad thing. This is like, I learned this stuff from Star Wars. I learned this stuff from Star Trek. I learned it from Doctor Who. I learned it from all these things. Learned it from comic books. And don't look down upon it. And I think you're talking about Star Wars reclaiming the magic. I think it works like that now, especially looking back and going, this was the film saying, we all grew up with this. We're all aware of this. We're all from different generations and ages. But this has meaning. This matters. All the jokes, all the whiz bang, all the Saturday morning cereal fun, but also the deep stuff. I absolutely think it's perfect for Han Solo to deliver that, and it's perfect for Han Solo to deliver that to the next generation coming up behind him in Finn and Rey, who have these great moments. It's also a goddamn great trailer moment, because then we go into the music and the Falcon flying, and you're crying, going, I might be, I'm 40, but I feel like a kid. Like, that works.
And then that's part of it. Of like, yes, I get the nostalgia and the marketing and all that.
Sure.
But I think like we're in the moment now where I see people online that I agree with, but they have given up their hope. They are just angry and think only anger and violence will move us forward. And it can feel very naive to go, well, maybe if we just remember we're all connected and take a deep breath. That can feel really naive and be easily pushed away. And I think the power of it is that, like, there is something bigger, whatever you want to call it. There are other ways. A little bit of naive hope is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Delivered by the most cynical man in the galaxy, Han Solo.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Kylo and Poe, BB-8 thumbs up. X-Wings arrive. The Resistance is here. Rey's slide. The Rey's theme. Rey's Han and Leia's final embrace. The final shot with Rey and Luke. Kylo and Rey face off. Han's death, the cheek touch of compassion. Chewie, we're home. And it's true. The Jedi and all of it and the magic is back. That's quite a list, Joseph, but we did leave off one that should be there. So an honorable mention for me is Rey calls the blade. The hero blade goes to Rey.
Yes. If I wasn't feeling so emotional about Han, that was my other potential number one, and it probably should be number one. Yeah. It absolutely should. Let's just make it an 11.
Or a tie. It's a tie. It's a 1A and a 1B.
It's a tie. Yeah, please, no one in the comments. I'm a middle-aged man, sentimental about Han Solo, and the power of that moment right now. But the lightsaber landing in Rey's hands is phenomenal, and just layers and layers of meaning and power. It's every I think I saw that film in the theater 6 times, and every time it's a great applause moment. I've talked a lot about how I think it is constructed for older generations to think that's Luke's big moment that he's going to pop up.
Yeah,
it's so powerful for Rey to the Force Awakens is multiple characters refusing the hero's call, saying, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to have the responsibility of sort of being a leader figure, or it'll all go on without me. I'm not the one who's going to make a difference. It is Rey accepting her place in the story up to a point. She obviously has to go much farther with that journey. It's also a great Jedi moment of what finally makes Rey unlock her latent abilities is defending Finn, defending herself, It's so powerful on multiple levels. And then, of course, obviously, the fact that it is a young woman is incredibly powerful and important.
Great moment. You're right. It was, even as that blade's flying, I was thinking, Luke, oh, that was kind of the gut reaction to that moment. And it still lives inside me, the joy for that scene. And what it means. And the fight, that's a great fight. And her kind of closing her eyes and hearing the words of Maz and kind of letting the Force in, and a big theme of what's going on there. So Great moment. Another one I want to put in there is earlier in the sequence, and I really wanted to put a highlight on Finn, but we set ourselves up to cut out a lot of good scenes in these moments. But at the beginning of this fight, and look, there's a lot of conversations to be had about Finn, John Boyega's experience in Star Wars and making Star Wars. I think a lot of valuable conversations and some tantalizing what ifs or should haves. But I got to be honest, like a lot of times when some people are off air tell me, I don't really like what they did with Finn. Great. What did they do with Finn? And I don't think people can answer it. I just don't think people are, I think people are overlooking it because again, some good reasons and the marketing of him with the blade. But Finn is about connection, right? Finn is about having something to fight for. In the first main like tease, that's what he says. That's what he's talking about. I don't have anything to fight for, and it is connection, and it starts small with Rey, and it builds. And yeah, I get it. I got your jokes. I've seen you on Threads. He says Rey a lot, and I think Boyega would agree with that, and I would agree with that. He does say it a lot. Got it. Cool. But it is about the connection growing to by the time it's Rise of Skywalker, it is everybody. It is the Orbaks. It is Jet. It is everyone there. And he embodies that. And as you pointed out, often in Rise of Skywalker, he's in the center of shots. He's connection. And I want to pay respects to Finn of the moment of this fight where Rey is hurt and Finn courageously picks up that blade to fight Kylo. Kylo's hurt. He's bleeding. Yep. But put yourself in that moment. You have had the blade. You fought with it. You're a trained warrior. But that's a pretty damn courageous moment. He's doing it for Rey. He's doing it for someone beyond himself. It is this moment of I have something to fight for, his first moment there. Because he's been lying all the way through. He's been lying. Han's calling him on his lies. You're just here to rescue Rey. You're not here to help anyone else. You're here. But it starts with Rey, and I love the moment where he's like, I'm picking up this blade, now I'm going to fight. No matter what happens, and it does cost him. But I'm going to pick it up and fight. I love that moment for Finn.
It's so good, and yeah, I think Finn's journey is fantastic. And another Finn moment to highlight is his conversation with Rey before he leaves Maz Kanata's castle about he was just trained and used by them, and all he knows right now is to run away from them. And then he ran into her, and she saw him as an individual, as a person, and it isn't just. I know people, make fun of him yelling Rey and make fun of you got a boyfriend, cute boyfriend. Like, it's not a puppy dog connection. It's like, you're the first person who saw me as an individual, not a number.
With a shout out, with a shout out to Poe, who gives him the name Finn. I don't want anyone to.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
But Finn says I ran straight into you, right?
Yes, he does. Yep. All right. Any other quick moments? I don't want to do another hour on honorable mentions, which we should have top 30.
I got two of the more fun ones. There's so much great banter between Poe and Finn, and you're right that Poe obviously does see him, and the jacket moment is great. But one that I really think about a lot is when Poe and Finn make their little breakout plan, and there's lots of funny little beats of like, you need a pilot, I need a pilot. Great rhythm. But there's that close up of Poe. He says, "We're gonna do this." It's great. It's great. It's great. Yeah. I love it. I love that you know exactly where I'm going.
It was the last thing I watched before we started recording today.
We're gonna do this, and like, yep. Again, it's looking back on it. Connect that Poe to the Poe who's like somehow Palpatine returned. He is trying so hard to still be the "we're gonna do this" Poe Dameron that I could fight the Empire all day, right? Energy that he has in this one. We're going to do this. I'm daring and I push and how much that energy is needed and how much he's losing it in in Rise of Skywalker. And that's his whole journey of like, Poe Dameron now needs Poe Dameron to grab him and go, we're going to do this by the time of Rise of Skywalker. So, and it's man, so infectious. My other one will just be like, there's 800 Kylo moments. But just appreciating both the storytelling of his anger and his entitlement and how he's different from Vader, but also comedy. The whole scene where he's brooding, I used to remember the First Order officer's name, don't now, comes in and says the droid escaped on a freighter. He says, the droid captured a freighter. And he's like, well, he had some help, And then the whole slashing is great for like the
Mhm.
tantrum of it, but after he slashes it and he has the anything else, as though that person didn't see and perceive the tantrum, and he can just go back to we're normal. It's so controlling of like I get to misbehave in front of you,
Mm.
and you don't get to acknowledge it.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was on my list potentially too. 3PO says hello with the red arm. I love that. I love Han getting confronted and Chewie even like, every time, like that whole sequence is great. Even though later on, I've expressed Rathtar issues. That's kind of disappeared for me. Han offering Rey a job's a great scene, but I did want to
Oh
highlight,
my gosh.
the Rey saving BB-8, and then the smaller moment of Rey's daydream. But we just covered the intro of her character so well here. But just the helmet on, the yellow tear from Ace helmet, and then just that, and then hearing BB-8. I just love that sequence. We know it sets up her fixing the antenna, and that keeps getting paid off. It's a runner, but even just the word like Tamalapak, whatever word she said, and then that's just Tito. Like I just as the Lonka Beast is going on, I just love it. It's part of the introduction of Rey, but I just love that moment. It's a great
Her nod.
save the cat. Yeah.
Her fine. You can come with me. Yeah, it's so much. I'll also just throw out her vision is
Vision's great.
Fantastic. Lots of great stuff going on there, and got a shout out of Kenobi. These are your first steps.
That's right.
All right, we can go on and on.
Going on. That is our list. We want to hear from you. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. If you're on the audio version, reach out on social media, ForceCenter Pod, especially on Blue Sky. Let us know your favorite moments. And if you're listening to this when we released it, the first week, December 2025, we are going to be doing a live show on Friday where we're going to hear from you, take calls from our Patreon supporters, and you're going to share your favorite Force Awakens moments 10 years on. Having a lot of fun celebrating this picture. Later in the month, on the 18th, we're going to re-release our Force Awakens review for 2015, episode number 4 of the main show. We are now at 8:15 or 8:13 of the main show, and almost 2,000 episodes overall. We're going to go back, release it. We'll have a little intro. We'll talk about it there. So we want to hear from you all here. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment, like, hype the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all those things as we continue to grow 10 years on here on ForceCenter. Follow me at Cat Knapsack. Check out my show, The Blathering, my Patreon page where you can get my show, Pop Rock and Radio, and a whole lot more. Joseph, where can they find and follow you, including your film and your newsletter?
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media, Blue Sky in particular. I'm enjoying, it's just an actual running stream of what the people you follow say in order and not constant ads. Anyway, but you can find me on all the social media, and my website, josephscrimshaw.com, has links to all the stuff I do.
There you go. That is it. Star Wars has been ranked.